there's nothing simple or cheesy or it's it really feels like just such a beautiful and harsh and realistic look at life in this time period in this town for these horrible people. And that to me is the pinnacle of literature. That's and Franzen too, right? Even though Franzen
Mm.
has some books where and he's a
I
better writer
know.
than I'm
That's what I
ever
was
gonna be.
thinking. I
But it's
was
a
I was
little
thinking about
there's
that. It's
parts
like
where yeah.
there's probably plenty of friends in books that like Updike. It seems like he doesn't really. This is like a miss in Updike. So to speak, in the sense of like, you know, I know Franzen has some books that are just not great. I haven't read that many of them, but they're like 3 out of 5s, and it doesn't seem like John Updike really writes 3 out of 5s. So we're talking about like maybe I think the
He
corrections
wrote
is better
one,
than Rabbit
yeah.
Run, but
Updike has a book, and I wonder if you would like it more than the others, not because it's cheesier, but because it's much more whimsical and fun. Witches of Eastwick, and then he wrote a sequel much
mm,
later. And that book to me, I don't like. Like it's just I like it because it's Updike. Like I'm not. It's better than a lot of books I've read, but it to me
hmm
those are my least favorite, and I felt like they had that
yeah,
side
they're
of
too
being too
cheap.
cheap and simplistic and overly prescriptive in terms of message. Um,
Hmm.
and like in those books, they're strong. It's like I wouldn't call them feminist novels, but there's a lot about rejecting patriarchy and what that looks like. And um,
Mm,
but the Rabbit
mm,
series doesn't have that. None of the books do. And um,
mm.
I think you should read some of the short stories next. I think that you would find, and in those you find kind of characters that aren't necessarily the damaged people that Updike's writing about here, but they're still very human. And
Mm,
and in this book, a lot of the characters are more damaged than in his others. I think that's fair.
hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, all that said, we went longer on this one because I kind of kept my hand probably too long because I knew that we would have a disagree about it. Maybe should have opened it up a little earlier. But like all that said, probably will read Rabbit. Like I'm reading Canoe Scarred Morning Star right now, and then I'll probably read Rabbit Redux at some point in the near future. Just because I think there's like a lot to learn from that. I guess that's the way I should put it.